Word on the street is that Lil Jeff was the one who killed Lil Rob and Monty. But did you know the whole thing was caught on camera? Two cars pulled up, and a group of men jumped out, firing multiple shots. The attack was brutal, and two teenage students from Innovations High School lost their lives. Witnesses say it was a horrifying scene. In this video, we're going to break down the chilling moment when Lil Jeff gunned down Lil Rob and Monty on camera. What led to this deadly ambush and what happened next? Let us get into it. The high school hit. At the start of 2022, a new name was making waves in the Chicago drill scene: Lil Jeff, also known as Bloodhound. He was not just known for his music, but for his violent reputation. Among the many crimes linked to him, one of the most shocking was the murder of Lil Rob and Monty, which was caught on surveillance footage. It all happened outside Innovations High School, right in downtown Chicago. It was around 12:30 in the afternoon when Lil Rob and Monty stepped out for lunch, heading toward Washington Street and Wabash Avenue. The area was busy, but that did not stop what was about to happen. As soon as they arrived, two cars pulled up and armed men jumped out. Without warning, they opened fire, killing the boys on the spot. According to CBS News, the shooting happened near an elevator structure just inches away from the main street. Security cameras captured it all. In the footage, Lil Rob and Monty are seen walking casually, unaware of the danger. If you look closely, you can see a dark-colored SUV appear from under the train tracks. Suddenly, a man steps out in a frenzy, rushes toward the boys, and starts shooting. The moment the bullets hit them, the shooter runs back to the car and speeds away. The surveillance video only showed one car, but Chicago Police Deputy Chief John confirmed that two vehicles were involved. He said both cars pulled up and fired multiple rounds at the group of teenagers. The victims, identified as 16-year-old Robert Boston and 17-year-old Montreal Williams, were rushed to Northwestern Hospital, but they did not survive. Witnesses described the horror. Eyewitnesses say over 10 to 15 gunshots rang out in just a few seconds before the shooter sped off. Muhammad Ashik, a shopkeeper nearby, said the shots sounded like fireworks. It was like a firecracker, you know? Like 10 to 15 shots back to back. This suggested that at least one of the guns had a switch, making it fire rapidly like an automatic weapon. As the gunshots echoed through the air, people ducked for cover. Some were crying, frozen in fear. One woman who was on her way to a studio was even grazed by a bullet. She showed reporters the hole in her coat where the bullet had passed. "It went through my arm, but just barely," she said. "I feel super anxious and sad. I was afraid it would hit me too." Most witnesses described the attack as a planned ambush. The Chicago Police Department immediately launched an investigation to find out why this happened and who was responsible. The families speak out. As police searched for answers, the families of the victims shared their heartbreak. They said Lil Rob and Monty were focused on school and learning a trade to build a future. "Robert always had a smile on his face," one relative said. "Monty just wanted to work hard and make something of himself." A family spokesperson condemned the violence, saying no one had the right to take another person's life in such a brutal way. He also revealed that one of the boys had a birthday coming up, something he would never get to celebrate. The tragic loss of these young lives left a deep wound in the community. And for many, the biggest question remains, why did this happen? The double murder sent shockwaves through the city, leaving many residents in fear. People were worried about their safety, and the entire community was shaken. The mayor, Brandon Johnson, quickly released a statement, saying, "My deepest condolences to the families and the Innovations High School community as they deal with the pain and trauma caused by this senseless act of violence." It was a brutal attack, and while most of the city was mourning, not everyone shared the same emotions. Shortly after the hit, the mastermind behind it was already bragging. Lil Jeff went on Instagram Live, making comments that hinted at what he had done. He talked about how he had just dropped two bodies and made references to his growing body count. "If I get mad enough, things will start happening," he said. "Y'all know this by now. I was mad for a week and poof, they had to go. Then poof, I came back." To understand what he meant, you need to know the backstory. Lil Jeff was furious because some people had stolen watches from him. That anger built up, and he blacked out. But in all his boasting, he basically told on himself. Many people started wondering why he had not been arrested yet. The first reaction to his video was the same from almost everyone. How did he not get locked up? One person online explained, "The feds let you think you got away with something. They let your money build up just like your case. Then they come and get you." Solving a murder does not pay them as much as a RICO or drug case does, so they wait. That made sense to some people. Another person even said, even if he did not die, he would have been arrested within weeks. This dude was not a real killer. He could not help but tell on himself. He did it over and over on camera. Lil Jeff's confidence on Instagram Live was not just talk. Almost a year after the hit, Chicago police made big moves in their investigation. They started making arrests. The first suspect was identified as Tommy Coleman, one of Lil Jeff's close affiliates in the Bloodhounds gang. He was picked up on the 5700 block of North Mason and charged with double murder. Then, earlier this year, another suspect was arrested, 20-year-old James Allison, also known as JMO Bloodhound. Officers from the CPD and U.S. Marshals took him into custody on February 3, 2025. Word on the street was that JMO had actually attended Innovations High School, the same school as Monty and Lil Rob. People started asking how JMO was 19 and still in high school. Someone came up with an answer. He had failed classes on purpose to stay behind and keep targeting his enemies. If true, that is a wild excuse for failing school. What really stood out about these arrests was how much self-snitching had taken place. Lil Jeff and his crew had talked too much, whether in their songs or on social media. They had made the police's job easy. But the big question remains, what led to this brutal murder? Why was the hit ordered in the first place? Lil Jeff often gave credit to his friend Vert for introducing him to rap and street life. Early videos show Vert hanging out with kids from Drill City and Trap City. Back then, those two groups got along. But things changed when Vert started making friends on the west side of Chicago in an area called The Jungle. A Facebook post from 2021 showed that Vert was still close with his friends from The Jungle, even as they got older. The Jungle Boys had a strong connection to another set known as BCAN or Nitty Block. That name came from Frank Nitti, a Jungle member who was killed in 2019. It seems like Vert pulled Lil Jeff into the Jungle Boys circle. A video even shows Lil Jeff flexing guns with some of them. That connection may have played a role in what happened next. The connection with BCAN did not last long. Two BCAN members reportedly turned on Lil Jeff and robbed him of his watches. From that moment, things took a dark turn. During one of his many self-incriminating moments, Lil Jeff hinted at why Lil Rob and Monty had to go. "Has someone ever tried to take something from you?" he asked. "I am not going to lie. They did run out on me before. I will admit that. They did what they did." If you are still wondering what Lil Jeff did after that, here's the full story. Back in the day, Lil Rob and Monty allegedly stole Lil Jeff's jewelry. As if that was not bad enough, they took things even further. They went online and started mocking him, trolling him, and sending direct insults toward the Bloodhounds. The BCAN boys bragged about the robbery and even claimed that the jewelry they stole was fake. "You got like $50,000 worth of fake jewelry," they laughed. Lil Rob and Monty flaunted their stolen watches like trophies. Ironically, one of them was actually a fake watch, designed to look like an expensive AP timepiece. A Reddit user even pointed out that the iced-out watch had a GLD logo on the clasp, meaning it came from an online store that sells gold-plated jewelry, basically fake. When the news spread, Lil Jeff went on Instagram Live to clear his name. He claimed that nobody had taken anything from him by force. "They wanted to look at it, then they ran off when I was not paying attention," he said. "On my dead grandma's head, if I am lying, I am down. God can take me out this car right now." Not long after, a YouTuber named Word from the Trenches featured Monty and some BCAN members in a vlog. In the video, they proudly showed off the stolen watches and kept mocking Lil Jeff and the Bloodhounds. During the vlog, Monty even got a FaceTime call from Lil Jeff. The tension was clear. Monty taunted him. asking, "Where's the jewelry at?" Then, he held up the stolen watch to rub it in. All the Weekend Boys did in that vlog was disrespect Lil Jeff and keep the rivalry going. Then came January 26, 2024. Monty and another Weekend member were at Innovations High School in downtown Chicago. They had no idea that their deaths were waiting for them that day. By the end of it, they became part of Lil Jeff's growing body count. But here is another question. What really caused the alliance between Drill City and Trap City to fall apart, leading to all this bloodshed? For Lil Jeff, the real breaking point was the death of his cousin, Z Money. At the start of 2022, a new face emerged in Chicago's drill rap scene, Bloodhound Lil Jeff. While he often credited his rap career to his friend Vert, it was his violent lyrics and raw storytelling that made him popular. He wanted the streets to know he was not just rapping, he was living it. In one of his songs, he rapped about his mother praying for him every day, hoping he would make it home safe. His response? "It is okay, I am the one doing all the killing." When people started calling him out for how dark his lyrics were, he quickly backtracked. He claimed it was all just entertainment, nothing real. But that is not the point. The truth is, that particular song was actually a tribute to his brother, J Boogie, who was locked up at the time. With J Boogie in jail, Lil Jeff's cousin, Z Money, stepped in. He became like an older brother to him, handling things behind the scenes and making sure Lil Jeff had protection. But in 2023, everything changed. A decade-long alliance between Trap City and Drill City came to a sudden and violent end with Z Money's death. On the afternoon of March 16, 2023, tragedy struck. Z Money was sitting in his car on the 1300 block of East 79th Street in the Avalon Park neighborhood, near a dry cleaner's parking lot. Out of nowhere, a car pulled up and started firing shots at him. He was rushed to the University of Chicago Medical Center, but it was too late. He did not survive. For Lil Jeff and the Bloodhounds, losing Z Money was a devastating blow. More than anyone, Lil Jeff felt the pain the hardest. Z Money had been his shield, his protector. After his death, Lil Jeff and his right-hand man, Q50, tattooed his name on their skin as a tribute. In 2023, a non-profit newsroom that reports on gun violence, The Trace, covered Z Money's case. In their report, they captured the heartbreaking words of his mother. She recalled the moment she got the call. It was Z Money's girlfriend. "She told me he was gone," his mother said. "I called the hospital, and they confirmed it. But I needed to see it with my own eyes." When she arrived at the hospital, the doctor gave her the news. He was dead on arrival, the doctor told her. She had one last question. "How many times was my son shot?" she asked. The doctor looked at her and said, "We stopped counting at 29. That day, Z Money became another statistic, one of over 4,000 people fatally shot in Chicago over the past decade. His killers still walked the streets, and no arrests had been made. With so many murders left unsolved, thousands of families and friends are forced to live in fear, always looking over their shoulders. Just when it seemed like things were settling down, rumors about Z Money's killers started spreading on Reddit. People were saying that Z Money was betrayed by his own friends from Trap City. This shocking news gave birth to a new monster on the streets, Bloodhound Lil Jeff. The change in him was fast, and everyone noticed. While people were still in shock over Z Money's death, a young boy named Jeffrey Harris transformed into Lil Jeff, also known as the Pistol Professor. But from the moment he stepped onto the streets, his fate was already sealed. Lil Jeff's story came to a tragic and shocking end. His death became one of the most dramatic moments in Chicago's drill scene. He lost his life doing exactly what he was known for, chasing and killing his rivals. One of his lyrics even said, "Every time I see an op, I drop my mask and swing the door." As it turned out, he meant every single word. On June 8, 2024, everything changed. In broad daylight, Lil Jeff, Q50, and another guy were caught on camera carrying out an attack. The surveillance footage showed them pulling up in a black SUV, jumping out and opening fire on a rival gang member in the middle of Trap City. The target, who was wearing bright yellow shorts, tried to run for cover behind a car and then into the porch of a building, but Lil Jeff was not letting up. Dressed in a black Nike hoodie and gray joggers, Lil Jeff chased his target straight into his home. But what happened next shocked everyone. Just when he thought he had the upper hand, someone inside the house fought back. Gunshots rang out, and Lil Jeff was hit. He stumbled and collapsed, lifeless. Word spread fast. His shooter emptied an entire magazine on him. In the same video, Q50 and the other guy could be seen rushing towards the porch, trying to help, but the shooter kept firing, forcing them to run for their lives. When the news of Lil Jeff's death hit social media, tributes started pouring in. His close friend Lil's Come 889 shared his grief online, writing, "I love you. I am going to be with you real soon." Another artist, AMF Visuals, posted a picture of Lil Jeff with a heartbreak emoji. Lil Jeff and AMF Visuals had worked on a music video together just the year before. At the time, many people did not realize that the song was actually about a high school double homicide. The title, was inspired by the last sound one of the victims made before dying. As expected, fans of drill music and internet users had mixed reactions to Lil Jeff's death. Some mourned him, while others pointed out the harsh reality of the lifestyle he lived. But one thing was certain, his story was a brutal reminder of how quickly things can change in the streets. The energy you put out always finds its way back to you. One person commented, "Trying to chase someone into their own house off the street is the ultimate crash-out move." Maybe Lil Jeff thought he was living out his wildest dreams, but reality hit him hard. Some people started comparing Lil Jeff to King Von. Many have called them similar, but one person pointed out, "I feel like Von represented Chicago more than Jeff." Jeff was a glimpse into the modern-day street wars, but Von's story was what most gang members actually go through. He went to jail for bodies, beat the case, and was in the streets for almost a decade. He also started really young, just like most of them. If you follow Chicago drill music, you must have noticed that Lil Jeff's rise to fame was based on the same things that made King Von so interesting. Some fans even believe that Lil Jeff was more active in the streets than Von. When Lil Jeff posted a picture of new tattoos on his neck, teardrop tattoos, each said to represent a kill, he captioned it, "Go do the math. If you know, you know." That post had the internet talking. Lil Jeff also compared himself to basketball legend Bill Russell, saying, "If I catch one more, I am like Bill Russell. You know I really play ball." It was a chilling statement. While looking into Lil Jeff's background, I came across a post in the Chirology subreddit that claimed he had bodies in Milwaukee. Word on the street was that he was even paid to take out 2 people there. This made some people wonder, was that why he built his whole image around the infamous Milwaukee serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer? Some even started calling him Lil Jeff Dahmer of Chicago Drill, a name that fit his reputation, but in the end, he fell victim to the same violence he once celebrated. But when police tried to arrest him, Rob refused to cooperate. He pulled away, ignored verbal commands, and made his body stiff, making it hard for them to handcuff him. The officers had no choice but to use force to bring him down and take him into custody. After Rob's arrest, people on Reddit had a lot to say. One person commented, "I do not know much about Illinois self-defense laws, but it is crazy to charge someone with murder in this situation. Was it because they kept shooting him?" But then, something unexpected happened. The investigation could not prove that Rob was the actual shooter. Because of this, the murder charge was dropped. However, since he was caught with a gun while already having a criminal record, he still faced a weapons charge and was likely going to prison. As soon as people heard about this, a fan made a comment, "He killed Lil Rob. Now he got by Big Rob." It was a joke, but the truth behind it was clear: gang life only leads to one of 2 things, jail or death. But this leaves a big question. If the police dropped Rob's murder charge, that means the real shooter is still out there. Who could it be? One Reddit user put it simply, "If Rob did not do it, we will probably never know who did. The real shooter is staying quiet and not claiming it."